Hi everyone, my name is Colleen. Welcome to Alpaca My Yarn. So this year I am going to be starting my first sweater. So I wanted to make sure to document that here and see how that goes. So in my last video you saw the yarn haul that I have and what pattern I'm going to be using. So after that I was reviewing what items I'm going to need to take with me on the go in my notions pouch, because I know a lot of this sweater I'll end up knitting in the car when I'm traveling from one place to another. So I wanted to review what's in my notions pouch here at the beginning of 2025. I thought it would be nice to have this recorded somewhere so that I can see kind of how things change and morph, you know, after I start using them more on the go, of what becomes to be my most go-to items and maybe what changes over time. So first of all, this little pouch, a lot of these items I've gotten over the years from Amazon mainly. So I'll link the links below for these items. This is the alpaca pouch I've had since like 2020. I'm not even sure if it's made anymore, but really cute. I was into punch needles at that time, and all my punch needles were stored in here. So that's a little enamel punch needle there. But in here now, I have the items that I use the most on the go. So the first thing I have are, of course, like my scissors. So these are Cohana, and they're made in Japan, absolutely beautiful. So I love the color of the thread on here. It's the silk thread. The reason why I purchased these is my grandmother always had a pair with her knitting and crochet that she always had. They were red and white. Again, she's also in Japan, and this just reminded me of crafting with my grandmother. So I had to get my own pair, and of course it matches this pouch beautifully, so that's why I got this color. Then I also have a tape measure. This one is, I believe, from Lantern Moon. Just really easy to carry. This one is both in inches and in millimeters. I know a lot of times we find tape measures that are only in one or the other, but with knitting patterns, it's very helpful to have a tape measure that has both measurements on it. A lot of these items I store in mint tins. So I love peppermint. And so a lot of these are just leftover tins that I've had from over the years. This tin, I think I probably got back in like 2018. So these were some organic peppermints. And in here, I store different things. So I'll pull these out one by one. So this is a cable holder. This one's really convenient to just kind of hook and hold really easy. This one I love for more complicated things, and it works great even as just a stitch holder. So these are by Prym, and I don't remember if two came in the package or if I loved it so much I bought two. I got these a while back, so they're just great. You can cross them and bend them in all kinds of ways, and it just works great. So stitch holders, but also cable holders. I have one of those keychain sets with 3 different sizes of the crochet hooks. Again, this is to help, you know, any dropped stitches in knitting, and I have it in 3 different sizes. These are some that I just had as well. They are 3 different sizes. I haven't really used these that much, but I have them. So they're great. You just put the yarn through it, and instead of using a typical darning needle, you can use this to take your yarn through and weave in your ends. So I forget what they're called, but I have 3 different sizes of those. These, I can tag things. To be honest, I haven't used these that often as I thought I would. You can mark rows, or you can remind yourself, is this one to make one right, to make one left, purl. So there's different ones in there. These, I'm just starting to get into color work this year. So these fit me great and they come in a set of either 2 or 3. So you can put that on the hand that you're holding your yarn, and you can do various colors. I usually don't do more than 3 colors, but this will hold, I think, 5. So it's great, especially if you're doing like those doodle cards, and you're doing a lot of color work in your knitting. I also got this ring. I haven't tried it yet, to be honest. It was just really pretty. It's a peacock, can help with tension of carrying the yarn. The yarn can loop through here, but I haven't really used this one. So that's everything that was in that tin. So already in this tin alone, I'm seeing areas where I could downsize. For example, I have other darning needles that I prefer. I may not need both of those Prym cable holders, and those little instruction things I don't use very often, so I could just use those at home instead of carrying them with me in my Go pouch. All right, so many of you are probably familiar with this store as well. So Trader Joe's, these are my ginger mints. This tin I probably got around 2019. And in here, it has the Haya large and small cable holders. It also has the ones from Chiaogoo. The minis aren't in here, but I'll be adding those soon. I also have the T-pins that come with the Chiaogoo sets. Just so you know, not all T-pin sizes will fit in all Chiaogoo, because some are quite a bit smaller or thinner. I also have the, where are they? The connectors and adapters. So Chiaogoo has, so probably a pet peeve of a lot of people with Chiaogoo is they have these little adapters for going from large cables to small cables. So I have those kinds of adapters in here. Not that I ever use those. I just buy the right size cable. And I also have the little connectors to where I can extend a cable to be longer. So all of those are found in this little Trader Joe's tin. If you're in Texas, you know what this is. And I think they're expanding into other states. I forget what other states they're in now, but it started here in Texas. So in here, I have everything that I have by Coco Knits that I take with me on the go. So also in this Notion pouch is the Coco Knits Wristband. So it's kind of like those 80s slap wrist things, if you're a kid of the 80s, where you can just put it on and it'll adjust to the size of your wrist. So this works great for me because I have a very small wrist and it just adjusts to my wrist perfectly. So on here, I have a row counter and that can snap on. And at the same time, I can have stitch holders on it. And here I also have several cable needles. Those can stay on here. And I also have several darning needles by them as well. So they have the bent ones and they have the straight ones. So here's one that's a slightly bent one. And so everything can fit on my wrist all at the same time, and they don't fall into the couch or anything. So I love holding this, especially my stitch markers when I'm on the couch. And this I sometimes take off and I put on my, this is usually actually on my Coco Knits board. But of course, I'm not taking my board with me on the go with my pattern. So on the go, I just carry it like this. So that's what's in here. Now, one more thing that's in here that I do take with me on the go is this Coco Knits needle gauge. I find this convenient because especially in the car, I can't always just be looking at the tiny numbers on my needles. So this is great because I can see which hole it fits in, and then I know really easily which needle I have. So that's why I take that one with me on the go as well. So this is everything Coco Knits. A lot of those are just different bulb stitch markers. Actually, I think some of those are even from Haya on the colored stitch markers. So I also carry extra of these. These are great as stitch holders to just kind of hold my needle in place, especially if I just need to stick it in really quickly on the needle because I'm about to leave the car really fast. I love having extra ones of these. I have bigger ones that are on my barber cords, but I don't always carry this tin because this is not something I will try to do in the car. If I'm going to be picking up stitches or anything like that, that is not a car project for me. So this usually stays home, but I will take extras of these with me. These I've had since my crocheting days, since I started crochet years and years ago. They're by Clover, so they're the different sets of darning needles. So I keep those. These are always my favorites. They're always a go-to. If and when I lose one, I always replace it very quickly. These are probably some of the oldest items I've ever had. I think these I might have gotten from Hiya back when I first got some Hiya items. Those are cable holders. And then this is Susan Bates, old tried and true, has the like knitting needle on one end and the hook on the other to fix stitches. So really, I could probably get away with just having this one instead of all those crochet hooks, but I have plenty of room in this little pouch, so I've just continued to carry them all. So I'll give you a peek inside. You'll see all my tins just line up perfectly in there. My little darning needle cases fit inside of that wristband, and it's an easy close. So this is my little to-go notions pouch that comes with me. Now, in addition to this, I will usually in my car also have something attached to one of the lemon woods. So I don't take all three with me. I'll show you the favorite that I'm currently using. So right now we're still in winter here. So my favorite one to use from Lemonwood is this one here. I think it was called Northern Lights. So you see the Northern Lights and then the little ice skater down there, just beautiful. And then Northern Lights above the tree. And then this is my favorite part. Beautiful, multi-rainbow colored holder. So this just holds my yarn for me in the car. And I have different ways that I do it. You can loop this on itself, but I really don't want to damage this beautiful handle that I carry on my wrist. So instead, for the car, I have this clip set that I use, and I just hang it from that arm hand holder at the top of the car. And yeah. So I have 3 of these. This one is the one that I like using right now, this time of year in the winter. I also have the like autumn leaves one, and I also have the butterfly. So those are the 3 that I have from Lemonwood. I know I didn't need 3, but just love those patterns, and they're kind of seasonal, so kind of pick them with one for each season. All right, so that's what I take with me on the go right now in the beginning of 2025. I'd love to see your notions pouch and what you take with you on the go. Another video coming up is I'll do like all of my favorite tools that I currently have. That'll be an upcoming video, but also I plan to do more in progress videos, especially starting this sweater and finishing my socks that I had from last year. All right, well, thank you so much for visiting my channel today, and I will see you on the next one.